Hello, brave souls, and welcome to the center of your entertainment galaxy. I am your GM in the Great Barrier, and we are broadcasting Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword tonight, our 23rd century Klingon game. We are picking up with part 2 of our current episode, Hay'wI. One programming note I might have gotten wrong in the last production there. Specifically, that this is, this would actually be our 5th episode of Season 2. I might have said this was the 6th. I was mistaken there. And we do have something very special planned for Episode 6. Even perhaps the GM might yield his powers for a moment, and we'll see what comes to that. But that is to be saved.
And am I planning some fun stuff for everybody?
Yes. The secret future GM decloaks. You heard it here first. We'll have our very own Overland gamer, Joe, taking on the reins for that game. So, with that, let's go ahead and get things going. Specifically, we are going to start off with we're going to start off with just a quick recap and then get back to where we were. So, the adventure has found us this week on the planet of Hol-Shamar, a Klingon world under the control of House Kullorn. The house has been in a blood feud with another house of similar power, the Mog. And there would be little reason for a ship of your relatively small stature, or representing a small merchant house like Tabox, to be present here. But special circumstances have come into play. Very particularly, the uncle of the ship's chief engineer, Rladaar, adoptive, you're guessing, has come to this world in order to fight over Hol-Shamar, and has engaged in what appears to have been a weeks-long struggle against their fleets and armies. From the sound of things, when you received a distress call some weeks ago, the forces under Kulik were already approaching depletion, and the time it's taken you to get here has only made that worse. Last session, you had arrived in orbit of Hol-Shamar, and the world that you found was relatively quiet from the orbital perspective. There was not really any signs of a large engagement, merely patrolling craft. You managed to slip through a very loose sensor net on their part, and have approached the planet as surreptitiously as you could. Once you made it into the atmosphere, things got a little more dicey. You flew in directly over the lines of contact, and the Yan conducted a rather faulty strafing run, but you managed to bypass the worst of the enemy's anti-air or anti-space approaches and land in the city. It is apparently a single major settlement that the forces of the House of Kullorn still hold, and they are under severe fire and stress, such that they have any forces remaining. They are low on any means they have to struggle against this disruptor energy. Their ships are largely weakened, grounded, badly damaged, and the troops are extremely haggard and approaching conditions that would suggest they're otherwise starved out, tired, not at all fit to join in glorious battle. And so, the Yan has landed on this scene. You secured the necessary clearance to approach the planet and have been guided, specifically the landing party of Rladaar, the mutant clone Dar, who has been quite quiet to this point, the ship's quartermaster Zional, and a straggler that apparently came with you from Mektor, a Klingon Hemhulk by the name of Kemek, who is a meat shield, basically. That is the best assessment you have at the moment. In any case... Kemak. Apologies.
It starts with the letter...
Right. In any case, yeah, you've landed here. You were guided through the through a badly shelled part of the settlement into a bunker system, and that is where you encountered Kulek, a fairly high-ranking member of the House of Kullorn, and he has dismissed a war council that was with him in order to converse with you, Rladaar, as we that's basically the scene that we happen upon. So let's set things up a little bit here. We'll establish the scene. The five of you are more or less in this bunker situation. His aide has not gone too far away, although he's outside of the room. The room that you're in is relatively Spartan, dimly lit in the sort of reddish orange that you would expect for such a setting. As a matter of fact, I think I do actually have a stock image here just to give us a rough sense of the thing. Let me just pull this up here. I'll focus more instead, whilst I get that up, on the Klingon that immediately stands before you, Rladaar. Whereas the others are in like nearer the entrance of the room, closer to Latash, and all kept pretty close together, mostly so that obviously Dar doesn't go too crazy or, hungry. Any of the bad situations there. The Kulek is, let's see. I would say that he's an old, slightly wizened Klingon, certainly more so than the last time that you've seen him, given that he seems to have seen a fair bit of battle himself. He wears much of the standard armor, something that is more like a traditional look for Klingons of the time. His face is is a bit haggard, but he seems to wear a perpetual sort of there's a perpetual smile that is about ready to break out almost at any time, that stretches especially wide because his jaw is just his jaw always bulges out, or it's a very wide jaw to its sides, and it is further accentuated by the grays of his beard and his mustache, grays that also create a salt and pepper effect through his through the traditional dreads that he wears. Above all else, he generally keeps up a very sort of there is a demeanor about him that at any moment he could burst kind of into a I would say a sort of mirthful laugh, so as to lift the spirits of those who are about. Let's bring that up a little close. His smile's maybe a bit more subdued, or he's not actively to that stage right now as he greets you here. seems that the image I was wanting to go for is not coming up, so I'm just going to go back to describing the war room. Very Spartan, very sort of dimly lit in the same sort of yellowish orange haze of most that you'd expect, say, on a Klingon ship of most sorts. A table seems to lay out some partially working holographic displays, although it appears to have been shut off. There are mugs of blood wine that have been left out as well. A few other boxes and even chairs that strewn about, but everything kind of seems a bit ragged or a little worse for wear in this room. It is even worse outside, where there is, since you had walked through the complex, there's the sense of, I wouldn't say desperation, but more fatalism. The warriors in this that surround this place are tired, and they are braced for what is likely to be a final struggle. So, all that setting setting up the pieces here. Kulek has taken you aside, Rladaar, to speak. I do not believe these are the regulars of the house, are they? Including that son of yours?
That is correct. None of them are from our house.
Well, I shall make do with the mercenaries then. Certainly their numbers might bolster our advantage here and give us the opportunity to impose a new dilemma on our foes. Be able to gain the upper hand, if at least in a small way that may allow us to fight on through. I suppose if your advanced guard came just in that ship, the remainder shouldn't be too far behind.
I am sorry to say, Uncle, but this is all.
He's a little stone-faced for a moment. There's an implacable quality to him as he ponders over the words. So, then you have come to join us in a glorious battle to the death, then.
If anything I have learned during my time with the Imperial Navy, you need to know when to pick your battles.
Well, I mean to decide very carefully how we stage this next one. If we do not concentrate our forces properly, we will not be able to break through their lines. But if we do so too visibly, then they will concentrate their weapons and soldiers and bombard us from afar. I do not mean to lose to them today.
What is your plan, then?
There's a bit of silence as he places an arm and, like, he doesn't go for, like, placing it on your shoulder. It's more of an open palm sort of, it's almost a clasp, but it's almost more of like a soft, open-handed, like, knock against you. Kind of an ambiguous gesture, but at the force he's throwing, not anything that would cause harm in any sense. Well, now I shall have to adjust what I consider here, now that we have your ship around, and the party that you have brought here. All in due time, Rladaar. Though, suppose since you are present, perhaps you can put some of those imperial skills that you learned in their service to good use.
You can certainly use them, I can tell.
We have need to modify and repair some of our larger artillery weapons, some of our heavy disruptors. They will be crucial in our coming assault.
Assault. You attend ground or space?
You shall need to break through first on the ground in order to in order to knock out any anti-space capabilities they have here. With a properly situated strike, we can break through some of their lines, disrupt the warriors that they have, and either destroy or even turn some against their assault ships. They're in so close that they make any ships we could have take off and to rejoin battle impractical to do so.
Have you attempted a more stealthy approach?
Ha! Oh. Not easily accomplished. Our vessels would be easily detected by their sensors, and the zone is so well bombarded there's scarcely the cover to advance in such a stealthy mean. Not further than that. We need not hide in the shadows. With a sudden enough burst of a strike and a sufficiently rapid assault, we can overtake them. I said... go ahead there.
With the stands we got on the way down, it would be lucky if it was just 2-1.
House Kullorn has fought longer odds. Certainly I have many a time before in my day.
That is true. But the art of war does not entirely frown upon the use of subterfuge.
Have something in mind, do you?
Well, a small group. Are you aware of how many cannons they have?
Oh, we've not been able to get a firm count, but they outnumber ours at least, as you say, 2-1. I suspect it is closer to 3. Or 3-1.
Well, if you send several smaller teams to get past their front lines and disable their cannons, it'd be a more equal fight for a breakthrough.
Ha! They are presently guarding their weapons too well for us to be able to even breach our small teams. Oh, has all your work in those reactor pits strained your hearing?
Well, that depends. My captain has taught some useful tricks. Do they have transporter protection?
Oh, yes they do. Unfortunately, we are not able to beam any forces behind them. It will force a ground assault. We likewise, however, maintain transport inhibitors, so they cannot get behind us.
Well, I know an individual that is rather stealthy. Perhaps we might be able to cause enough damage to their weapons. Fighting on the ground seems like a folly move.
It is the only option we have left, and my forces shall take it. We are Klingons. But perhaps
How
we
many
could...
How many of your ships are still functional?
They serve their purpose for now, providing shields to prevent those cowards from bombarding us from orbit. But we must focus more on the important. We must focus on more important matters. Gaining the. While we have that cover, we should attempt to gain the advantage on the ground. That way, they cannot impair us as easily, and they cannot enable us to take off into space more properly.
I see.
Yes. Did you bring your captain with you, perchance? Is it that... the rather dirty one, he says, eyeing Hammock?
No, he's just one of the retainers of his house. The actual captain of the vessel just let me borrow it.
Someone let you command a vessel.
I know. Well, no. Currently in command of the vessel is Azik.
A name I do not recognize. Oh. Very well. If your current commander is of any tactical skill, or if you have means at your disposal that you think would permit you more stealth, you can allow him to act. In the meantime, most useful work, I think, would be to begin preparing what weapons and munitions we have for the next assault. He seems to be starting to try and, walk out of the conversation. Your arrival here is most fortuitous, Rladaar. I am sure you will serve yourself with honor and distinction.
We shall speak more later. And, Uncle, today might be a good day to die, but don't plan on it.
I plan for victory, he says as he glances back at you and smiles. With that, he is going to stumble, not stumble, he's going to slowly make his way out of the room. Litash, do what you must in order to help these people prepare for the coming battle. Put them to work how you can. So,
Quick question.
yes.
Over the course of that conversation, and with the fact that I am an empath, can I get a read? Can I try and do a read on Uncle, on Mr. Unk?
Yes. For a start here, I actually need to go back and refer to something here. Okay. So this will be a little strange here, but I will go ahead and, There will actually be a momentum draw here first. Particularly, Kulek has his own pool, and he starts with 2. He also gained 1, it looks like, from a success earlier on. The pool is to spend at his discretion, so he is starting with 3 points. I'm not using any of them now, but as he walks through, go ahead and give me an insight plus command. I think your difficulty would be 1 on this.
Okay, and no focuses would apply. Correct. Equipment requisition, negotiation, and assassination. I'm not planning to assassinate him just yet.
Indeed not. So I don't think any of those
Okay.
will apply here. Okay, so Zional, you do succeed at the task. I would say that the emotions that come out from the old Klingon are a bit of a mix, most of which you have picked up as a degree of ambience. There is something very fatalist about his thinking, although there's slightly more depth to that. There's also the... there is perhaps a very slight disappointment or frustration, although he seems at least sufficiently in command of his faculties to not show it. There is also there's one complicated feeling kind of beneath all of that. There is a feeling of excitement, perhaps anticipation would be a way to think about it. Very much something that is common for any Klingon that is about to go into a brawl. But there is also something tinged with it, or tied up with it. You can't quite tease it out. I'd say in some ways you might interpret it as like a shade of regret. Another part of it may be some of that same fatalistic thinking, but also a determination. I like the general sense of someone just trying to put one foot in front of the other. And that is very much what you get as he leaves the room. And with that, he will depart the scene, and the GM will drop 1 point of momentum from the pool. No. So, Zionol, as you ponder what you felt before you have a chance to share it, there is another Klingon in the room, someone a good bit younger, with longer, like less kempt hair, or at least less stylized in a sense. It's the large Klingon mane, to be sure. There are signs that he sustained a facial wound at some point. I'd say very slight scoring around the eyes or discolorations, as well as an eye patch, as this other Klingon man approaches you. Well, what skills do you bring to this, would you bring to this battle today? He looks over to you, Rladaar. Are these warriors that you would place out on the lines, or are they also as proficient with machinery as you?
he, I say, pointing at Dar, he is definitely a warrior. Though I wouldn't give him a disruptor yet.
Is Hemak in listening range
He would be,
of this
yes.
conversation?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can shoot and kill things too. I can also make big guns work. The bigger the better.
And what of this small one? He says, looking to you, Zional.
Well, I can't say that I'm much of a fighter, but you look a bit, and pardon my saying so, troubled on the supply front. I can make one case of disruptor cells last for 3 times their use with some creative supply chain rerouting. Just let me see your supplies and I can make you last longer than you are right now. That's all I can do.
Latash, his eye narrows at you a bit, Zional, but he just grumbles and with a single loud clap of his palms, 2 guards come over.
Oh,
Escort this one to the staging area and show them the supply area.
would you mind if I grabbed my assistant from the ship first?
You create delays that we cannot afford much of, but
It will be worth it.
bring whatever dregs you need for your task.
Thank you. Your generosity will be remembered.
Hey, little guy. What the drag?
Yes.
What the drag?
I don't mean to be too forward, but a dreg are, well, they're some of the best.
Alright. I guess so. Alright. You need help carrying them?
No, I'm good. Thank you. But you can feel free to call anybody who's doing a really fantastic job the best dreg you've ever seen.
Okay.
Excellent.
I don't like using words I don't know.
That's fair. And he will head off.
Others can guide you to any to the main cannons.
Did you want me? Wait a minute, where am I being sent? I was kind of like not paying a lot of attention.
Sorry, I had a slight mic malfunction there. It's just saying. I do not know how to assign all of them or where I would place them. I do not like the hungry look in this one's eye, he says, glancing towards Dar. We can guide you towards one of the weapons most in need of repair, Rladaar. Till then, secure whatever supplies you need from your ship to conduct them, and I am entrusting responsibility of the remainder of your group here to, well, under your care. Be sure they do not do anything regrettable.
Understood.
Oh, unless you have anything else that you need from me, then I have a battle to prepare us for.
Very well.
So, Latosh will leave you. We'll leave you basically in your own company. There are a few Klingon guards or like members of the House of Kullorn that are just kind of about. They seem only to be they're carrying blades with them. I'd say in here it just appears to be mechlets, although they have disruptors holstered as well. So, but they're kind of giving you enough of a wide berth to where you can do things unobstructed. Basically, they will be your escort and guides to wherever you need to go.
All right.
Or narrative fluff there.
Narrative.
Actually, very slight retcon. I am going to. No, never mind. Treat this as having a moment to learn it yourselves. So that you can plan and talk.
Well, I'm gonna call the ship. Pull out a communicator.
This is the we are reading you.
We have, I need you to start conducting some scans, Vopra.
Okay. Do you wish for me to put you through to the captain?
Yes, I need to update Azek as
Okay.
well.
So, Azek on the bridge, Vopri has connected the audio line, so you are now in contact with him.
This is the bridge.
This is Rladaar. Azek. I have talked with my uncle. And we're going to need to put in some work if we're going to get out of here.
Well, you're part of the crew, so any help they need, let's give it to them. And yeah, what kind of help are you thinking they're going to need?
They need just about everything. That we do not have enough. So, with the ship, I need Vopri to scan the city, particularly to get some updates on the terrain and see if the sewage system is still intact. We need to blow up a few cannons.
I was going to say there's a lot of supplies in orbit on those ships. I'm sure that would satisfy people for a very long time.
Well, the problem is that the cannons we need to silence are the same ones that will shoot us down when we try to take off.
So we deal with the cannons first, and then we go after the ships in orbit.
If my uncle is smart enough, he intends to do a breakout assault and destroy the cannons, and then try and flee, hopefully. I don't know the state of the ships he has, but we know he doesn't have the fleet to. Even if all of them were working, he would be hard pressed to win a battle in space either way.
I asked this only out of respect for our Commodore, I guess is what we'd probably call Tabak at this point. Anyway, the is any of this going to jeopardize Tabak's house? Or is there a way that we could possibly get let's see, Tabak's house involved to help things here beyond just one very powerful ship?
I believe the House of Kullorn is too far away, and it'd be better to not mention the house too much, else they might get dragged into this house war going on. And you and I know very well the current military strength of our leader's house.
Okay. This is kind of an outside question, Mr. GM. Do we have markings on the side that say we're House Korg, or
I don't believe Tabak had left any sort of specialized marking or emblazoned a bothered to emblazon a symbol. By all means,
If
Sean.
we did, it would have been destroyed by now.
Yeah.
Also true.
No, actually, Tabak would have resisted doing anything like that. Just, knowing that things questionable were going to need to be done. He doesn't want any reliable markings, identifiable markings on the ship.
Can't let them know what we. Can't let them remember what we did to that Imperial ship.
What are
in
you
that
talking about?
case,
What
in
Imperial
that case-
ship?
Yeah. No witnesses.
Yeah. What Imperial
In that
station?
case, we shall decorate our ship with the blood of our enemies.
If there's no survivors, there's no witnesses. It still counts
So-
as a stealth mission.
Does that mean we can have a symbol on the ship now?
We've got to kill enemies in order to be able to do it.
Tabak's not there. If you want to slather obscenities all over the ship, there's nothing he can do about it.
Please don't slather obscenities all over the ship.
In Draven's past life, he was an artist.
Kill him.
Travens taps the memories and the vibes of the soldier Lex to paint an interpretation of no particular Klingon woman as in the same style as like the World War II bombers.
Yeah, I'm doing the important thing.
You're talking putting pin-ups on the nose for nose art.
Yes, that would be Traven's mission here.
If I put flames on it, it makes it go faster.
God.
We're
I'm-
Klingons, not orcs from 40K.
I'm glad Woe's not here to hear this, but if we need a model, we've got the cat or the Kashyyyk. Just saying.
Sure.
No, the whoa, we gotta go find her,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
So
If
we need a model for the
I am
nice.
so
Bat-
lost.
we are so off the rails.
I am so lost.
All right, let's plan our defenses accordingly. Vopri. let's do a quick scan as to what Rladaar needed.
Oh, and
I'm sure that'll require a roll.
Captain, I can do that, but I do not believe we are off the communications line yet. We are still technically talking to Rladaar and everyone with him.
Yep.
Hot
Rladaar, is there
Mike.
anything else?
Who taught him this? Who's teaching him these words? He's not a gamer.
I didn't do it.
Horrid.
Rladaar, is there anything else you need us to do?
No, just be ready for the inevitable battle to come.
A Klingon is always ready for battle.
But there's a vote, Bri.
No.
Vopri, you'll be fine.
I have seen Vopri carry more honor than that Patak we've got in the whole.
Well,
It does remind you, Rladaar, if you need another meat shield here, there is a Creel that, yes, did try to kill you, but has nominally been friendly. But if they got out of line, then Rladaar has a snack out here.
yeah, look, it's called a point man for a reason. He's going to be on the team.
Well, if you request him, or if Azek decides to send him out, I think there still needs to be a scene for that.
Look, we'll request once we get confirmation on the scans that they're favorable.
Gotcha. Alright. So yeah, I guess Vopri then will go ahead and conduct a roll here. Joe, if you'd like to get into the ship, I think that this will be science and sensors from the ship. And Vopri will roll reason plus science.
You have to put the departments thing so different on the ship character sheets.
Yep.
And it's just one die, right, for support?
A single die, yes. A ship always rolls a single d20 for its task roll. Okay. Let's see. At 2 successes, given what you're going for, I'm going to call that a success in terms of creating an advantage. So, Vopri, we'll change the setting here just for a moment. As Vopri conducts a sensor scan from the bridge. Let's see. Make sure. Alright, so changing the set real quick. As Traven and Azek are going over design work that the former has devised to paint on the hull and is submitting themes for basically vanity shield looks for the yawn, Vopri runs through the sensors. Captain, I do believe I have spotted an intact segment of the sewer system. It seems as though there is a segment that has not completely collapsed. It extends near a troop concentration and some energy systems which might be weapon cells. I can relay to Rladaar.
Sorry, I was trying to think. All right, yeah. Relay that to him. And can we get? Are we close enough to get any readings on those cannons themselves or the artillery themselves?
I can place some rough coordinates there. Uh, there are dozens of emplacements within sensor range, and I would think more on the front. I I cannot get a complete sensor scan from our present vector on the ground. We may be able to get better scans if we were to take off, but it would come at risk. We may be targeted.
Yeah, let's try to stay under the radar as much as we can. All right, relay your information to Rldaar.
Yep. And so, Rldaar, a transmission will come into you, and from the looks of things, what's coming through on the... I'd say that the message that gets transmitted will say there's some sort of scanner that lets you display a rough map or like set of coordinates. It does suggest that at least a part of the MOG deployment is set up on a destroyed outer part of the settlement, and that there is a linkage that would get you at least behind the infantry line, very near some of the artillery emplacements, as well as like some of the charging cells for them. Your engineering training would tell you that these are like very large sort of facilities, and that these are not like, because of the grade of weapon we are talking about, these are not things easily moved by being carried per se.
I see. Got it. I'm going to call Zional.
Yes.
The plan is starting to come together. Since you're going to be helping them with their supplies,
Of course.
do you mind seeing if you can borrow any antimatter charges?
Borrow, or borrow.
The second one.
I see. I am sure I can make some additional supplies vanish if needed.
We're going to destroy these weapons.
I like that idea. It seems, well, dangerous, but not a frontal assault against an enemy that has ships in orbit that would vaporize us.
We have a subterranean route.
I do like subterranean.
Wait a minute. Antimatter. Okay, blown up stuff is great and all, but antimatter is, I don't know, that's kind of overkill, isn't it?
The things we're trying to blow up are nearly the same size as our ships.
You don't need a whole lot of antimatter to blow up something the size of the ship, as long as it's a runaway reaction.
Yeah, that's why we only need one or two.
Yeah, but like you can blow up the ship with like the amount of antimatter you can put in your hand. Of course, your hand would blow up first, but you know what I mean.
I know. But
I think it would probably also be about sending a message, no?
it is also to kill as many of their infantry as possible.
And
but setting that off, we got to get out of the blast. I mean,
Oh,
if I got to carry the charge and like run at the enemy and blow myself up, I'll do it. But that's not something I'm looking forward to.
we're going to I'll rig some timers for them. This isn't the first time I've done this.
Yeah, I know how to make bombs too, but okay. But if you can do it better, you're the engineer.
Well, it's either they blow up over there, or they blow up here when they inevitably overrun our position.
Oh, we're looking at that. Okay. Today's a good day to die and all that. Okay, gotcha.
I do have to ask though, Rladaar. This is just. Does your house have no allies? Other allies? Other houses that owe them favors?
Well, there's only hope is that the communication that he sent for reinforcements reached the other houses.
That was a request. I'm talking more of a lever.
Leverage.
And if there was a time to utilize a connection, bringing in, if not allies, someone or something useful, space side, while we're able to break out planet side, would then trap this fleet.
It's not a question of if we could find friends, a question of if they could get here fast enough.
I see.
It took us weeks to get here.
Yeah, I kind of wondered about that.
If they're
Like nobody came to kick me off the ship or nothing. Just kept getting snacks.
it's all chain gang. If there is help coming, they're either already en route to help or they're not coming.
Understood. Well, then, I suppose I should go and get my assistant and get to work cataloging munitions.
I'll make sure that the guns they have here are ready, so when we inevitably blow something up, we'll have some artillery of our own.
If you need any spare weapons, supplies, I suppose I do have those 2 additional weapon systems that I brought along with me. You could borrow them at a discounted rate.
If you feel the need that it'll be the best route for your own survival, then, please bring them out.
Very well. I don't know how engineerable they'll be to this place's defenses, but if you take a look at them and find them useful, I suppose survival is a good enough payday.
Yep. There you go.
Like, what do you want me to do? Want to blow stuff up?
We're gonna blow stuff up.
Make a gun work? What?
Make some friends.
I don't do that really good.
Well,
You probably noticed.
Well, probably find Nogri on the ship or someone to see who else is willing to come on our mission. No glorious battle.
Great. Well, okay, so I guess I'll just wait here then. Okay.
I'm telling you to see if you can find other people to volunteer for our horrible mission.
Volunteer from where?
We're surrounded by soldiers. I'm sure you can find one or two that might relish a chance to go out and do something.
But don't they already have jobs? You want me to go to soldiers who are already got jobs from their commanding officer and ask them if they want to go run at the enemy and blow shit up?
I'm going to relay my plan to Kulek while I'm working. So,
Okay.
you can preemptively gather them. It doesn't guarantee we will take them.
Okay. So, aside from running at them and blowing things up and probably dying, what's the plan?
We're going to sneak. We're going to use the still intact sewer systems to sneak behind the enemy lines and sabotage their ground-to-space weaponry.
Alright.
And blow stuff up. All right.
Okay. I'll ask around, I guess.
Just not giving some busy work. Not doing it.
Just giving him busy work.
At a certain point,
He has no social skills.
yeah. At a certain point,
My friend, I'm sure there's a gun that you can man and talk to the other gunners.
At a certain point, you could just tell him, "Take a nap, and we'll get you when it's time to blow things up."
Nope. He told him to go find out if anybody else wants to go do a suicidal mission. So,
And we'll spare everyone the exchange of Kamek coming up and saying, "Hey, you what? Yo,
hey, you want to go die?
Do you want to die?
You want to go die? Okay. Hey, you. You want to go die? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this guy has zero socials.
Yep. So while that's going, we'll skip ahead a little bit, because before we get to any further conversation with Rladaar and Kulek, or before we follow up with them, let's presume for a moment that Rladaar sends along the request at least to use the Creel, presuming that is something that you would want done there, so that you have, extra meat shields.
Oh yeah. The more the merrier.
Yep. So, Vopri will let you know, Azek, that has the rather unorthodox idea of bringing along the Creel assassin, at least as far as like an extra set of hands that might help them. Maybe doesn't want to die to the Klingons either. So,
We'll bring along everyone that won't be missed.
Yep. So, if you're good for it, and Traven, if you are good to activate Nagri, then we could run a scene with the two of you.
It is time.
Yeah. You good to go, Joe?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. So, we'll say there's, as that scene departs, we come back from commercial break, and a door on the Yon's crew deck opens into a supply closet where, which has been largely emptied, moved about as an improvised sort of brig section, and where a man of like a Creel man, one with a very thick, muscular upper body and somewhat spindly lower legs, a lantern jaw, and a deep, sort of orange, almost rust-colored skin.
He skipped leg day, didn't he?
The Creel always skip leg day. Or just about. But yes. Azek, that is, you find this this Creel man here. He has sat about, and I imagine at this point some sort of box might have been provided so that he at least has a seat to use of some kind. A little more, just a little bit more in this place going on. Nalgray, for your part, it's been a few hours since any last bit of interaction where you were allowed slight use of the ship facilities, able to get a meal. You've been largely left alone, as the captain is not, as far as you know, never made a decision as to your freedom, so you have been held prisoner for some weeks at this point.
Thank God. I have to pee.
You go ahead.
Oh, thank God. Whew. Where's the restroom again? I forgot.
Okay, one commercial break later, and upon return to that, yeah, we find ourselves in pretty much the exact same situation as you are sat down on the box, Nalgary, and facing the Klingon captain, now freshly relieved.
So is this good news or bad news?
Is there another box in the room?
Do you want my box?
No, I'm asking the GM. Is there another box in the room?
We can say that there are two boxes that are pushed together so that he can kind of have a bed. And they can be separated in case you want a box to sit down on.
Out of respect, or a show of slight respect, I'm going to sit down on the floor directly across from him.
Oh, no, that's fine. Hold on. Slide the second box over, please, and I tap it. Sit.
I rest my arm on it. You said that you were interested in working for us.
That is correct.
What kind of services can you provide? What skill, what good are you to this crew?
I mean, he's gonna flex his arms a bit. A little bit of self-explanatory. Other than that, I've fought a lot. I know how to fight. That's basically all I am. A fighter. And I'm kind of good at engineering.
Describe to me a battle that you are most proud of.
I'd like to say the most recent one is came across onto an enemy ship, and on it was a monstrous creature. Staggering stature. It bit me, but I landed a few blows and I lived to tell the tale. True story.
All stories are true at some point. It's just a matter of if the facts line up.
Not to mention the battle with you guys in town.
Why do you want to help our ship and this crew?
To be honest, it's a simple matter of math. I am alone. The squad that I was with, gone. They are were to go back. My group. What does that make me? A runaway? Somebody who got captured? Who knows what information I might have gotten? What life I had before is kinda done. But I do intend on living farther. And from what I've seen, your captain takes good care of you. Way better than any higher ups that I've had to deal with. And you guys take care of each other. To be honest, that's kind of a refreshing start for me. I won't have to worry every day about dying from either my crewmates or my higher ups, either from a suicide mission or a dagger to the throat. And food.
We do have delicious food. Our cook is very skilled at making the most out of what we have available. What does honor your crew mean to you?
Honor? Not much. Most people use it as a word to do evil things. Most people use it as a word to do good things. Just a word. Honor differentiates between people. Crew, however, you stick your neck out for mine, I stick my neck out for yours. That's what little neck I have. I'm a man of fair exchange.
If necessary, are you willing to do what it takes to help House Tabak rise, House Korg rise?
If the House of Kullorn and Tabak treat me well, and treat me kind, you won't be able to find a better soldier on this side of the galaxy. That I can assure you.
Ezek will take a big sigh and stand up. If you betray us, you will die by my hand. Do you
I expect
understand?
fully. I expect nothing less.
All right. Let's see how this works. We'll get you set up with a proper bunk, what we can. For now, you have free reign of the ship, with the exception of engineering. I'd prefer you be supervised if you wish to go there. I know you said you were good at engineering, but that kind of trust needs to be earned, you understand?
Of course, that's the heart of the ship.
I'll make sure to mark it in my log that we added you to our crew. And to let you know, Captain Tabak is back on his homeworld dealing with family matters, and I am acting captain of the Yan now.
Your boss man. Got it.
I will treat you with the respect that you give me. Um, are you any good with computers by any chance?
No.
Okay.
Unless it's the mechanical part of it.
No, there's something happening with the computers. I don't know what's going on with the bridge, but let's let's head up to the bridge, and I think we've got a rather blunt force project or task for you to start off with.
There's one thing I know. It's blunt force.
Do you have a preference in weapons?
He holds up his fist. Close range, I'm fine. but I could use a phaser or something like that. Something ranged. I could also use a rock.
Where GM, where's is the armory stocked at all, or do we have a quartermaster for the armory?
I mean, the armory is well stocked, and Zionol is your quartermaster. I'm fairly certain. Well, no, Zionol secured ship weapons for you. Woe had a dealer for the other stuff, though. Granted, I think that Zionol helped to refill your coffers. But if you actually check the pins there, you do have a few options in terms of the weapons. I believe the ground assault. Yes, you have the ground assault weaponry, which would mean disruptor pistols. I think I decided that they were two-hander plasma repeaters, disruptor rifles, gintuk spears, and thermite grenades. Since you paid the escalation cost, all of you would technically have access to all of them.
Make sure you see Zionol to get fitted with whatever you need. If they have any problems with it, make sure they contact me. But you are part of the crew now.
So, I just
I'll go to the what was your character's name?
Nogri?
Okay. I'll go
Like
to
the guys.
Huh?
Nagri, like the guys from the Thrawn trilogy.
I'll go over to the ship's comm and do a shipwide broadcast. Attention all hands. This is Captain Azik. The Creole that we have has Nagri has graciously decided to join our crew. For now, he is restricted from engineering to be their only supervise. Zionol, make sure that he gets equipped with whatever he needs.
I don't believe
Thank
Zionol
you.
is on the ship.
Oh, that's a problem.
You only get Croker's response back. Great. Is he going out on that suicide mission? I don't think Traven is. I think Traven got called in by Zionol, so we're all good there. But I think that I think Rladaar's still looking for hands to go out with them, and much as I feel the call of battle, I think he's looking for the more expendable sort.
Yep. Sounds like you and our good friend here are gonna go help Rladaar.
The line is all static now.
I figured.
Betty's having none of that.
All hands, thank you. As always, it's a good day to die. And then I click the thing off, and we head towards the armory.
All right.
I'll just do it myself, and make sure he gets a blaster or a knife or whatever he needs.
Yep. So, let's see. We'll get all of that sorted out in a moment here. In the meantime, as all that's getting situated, we have two other sequences here. Rladaar's obviously got a conversation in mind, and then I know there's a Zionol Traven bit planning. or like working on the supply situation. Let's see. Would either of you prefer to go first, or like would any of you want to volunteer, or GM's discretion?
Roll for it.
All right, that's a roll off. Since we have main player characters here, I'm going to say this is a Traven versus Rladaar roll off, which would otherwise I'd usually put that money on Rladaar, but we'll see how the dice are. As a reminder, it's
Is lower or higher win?
lower wins.
Perfectly average.
Wow.
Zional, can you beat an 11?
Let's see.
Oh, my bad. I thought we rolled off.
Me and him were gonna roll up again. Oh,
I can, in fact, beat an 11.
Yeah, so as Traven and Rladaar are evenly matched on a D20 roll, Zional quietly rolls the lower number and thus allows you guys to go first. Zional, I understand you wanted to call in the character assists and thus the getting Traven voluntold, essentially, at least so far as the GM is concerned. I apologize for that, but also just to expedite things. So let's see. Sorry, losing my train of thought.
Can I grab some rations before I head out?
Yeah, you
Of course.
can certainly grab some on the way out.
I try to grab as many as I can carry. I'm trying to give some food to the troops because I'm sure they're hungry as shit right now.
Yeah. So.
Did you bring the portable rations? You know, the small pocket-shaped ones?
No, I don't want to die.
Okay.
So, Traven, your arm's full of rations and Traven, your arm's full of rations and with other kit on you. You descend from the elevator of the Yon, and the door opens to just the most sort of dusty, dreary, and like unpleasant environment that you've experienced since you visited Grethor. If anything, Grethor at least has some style and color to it, whereas this place there is heavy cloud cover, flames in the distance, likely from corresponding to the distant sounds of impacts and particle weaponry being fired. The city that kind of is around the landing area, it's very badly damaged. Only some of the buildings are illuminated at this point. Your scientific understanding would tell you that the cloud cover is likely as much due to soot, ash, and other particulate that have been kicked up by the sheer number of explosions that must have occurred in this area. And against this grim backdrop are still more grim-looking soldiers, warriors that do not seem as enlivened by the battle that they are caught in. For this does not look anything like the honorable, glorious struggles that you had read about and that other warriors had recounted in your time amongst Klingons. This looks more like the horrors of wars past. This calls you back to your previous host. Specifically Tabo and the war, like the more attritional grinding wars that would swallow entire, like, divisions of men at a time.
Could I? What would I roll to try and remember something?
Reason, and then, depending on what you are trying to pull, I would set the discipline on that basis. Is there any particular...
How did Tabo keep his troops together during this time?
I'm going to call that command, then.
Don't think I have an applied focus. That.
You could give yourself one. Remember, you can do that once per session.
Yeah,
It's so early, and there's a lot of things with guns on this planet.
So early. We only have an hour left in the session.
You make a good point. I'm going to use my Trill ability, and I'm going to gain the morale focus.
okay. I will allow you to like, you get the... I will allow you to gain a focus in morale and call to mind the words, call to mind the memories of Tabo as you try to, as you roll to try and remember something there. So I believe that was reason plus command. I'm going to call the difficulty on this 2. You score 4 successes on that roll, so that is 2 more points of momentum that you will generate. I don't know who was momentum officer last time, but let's see here.
I think it was our captain.
Yeah, that was me. I currently don't have any in front of me.
Okay, just go ahead and click on the momentum there and draw 2, if you please.
Job's done.
Yep. Traven, you remember the handful of times that pressed up against the lines that if there were ever a quiet day or time between bombardments, sometimes you might try to indulge in a few shared hobbies. You yourself, or rather Tabo himself, was partial to writing and reading poetry, trying to enliven soldiers with conversation. Occasionally, there might be some popular song of the day that you sang to get through that, particularly during an artillery shelling when there wasn't going to be any chance that the singing would really pinpoint them, not over the noise.
On my way to connect with Zynal, as I pass by troops, I'm going to hand them rations as I'm singing a famous Klingon battle song.
This will be interesting. I'm going to ask you for a presence plus command roll using that morale focus. I am, however, going to set the difficulty on that task to 4.
I would like to use a determination.
Okay. What value are you using for this?
Helping hands.
Very good.
And I would like to critically succeed.
Okay, so that is 2 successes already. That just means you need to roll 2 more successes to meet. Anything more?
And it was
need more momentum.
And it was presence and what?
Presence plus command. That is 2 successes. So, Traven, these soldiers, these warriors, they have undoubtedly been fighting for some large bit of time, like long stretch of time. They have just been utterly and thoroughly drained through this. They could get up and fight more, but you can tell in a sense that the heart is not quite in them as you walk up. they've seen probably a great many of their people die in these past weeks and days, and they've seen a lot of horrible things, although Klingons are prepared for that. They are able to handle battle. What they're not quite prepared for is this Trill Man walking amongst them, arms stacked comically high with packages of food, which you somehow inexplicably balance and distribute to each of them. They don't know what is more puzzling. Your the dispensation of food, the package they receive from you, or your I'd like to say that Traven singing would be somewhere between a tenor and soprano. An alto. Let's call him an alto. Or do you think Traven would go deeper with his voice if he were to sing?
I think alto is perfect.
Okay. They do not get this this Trill Man, this alien dude dropping by singing ancient Klingon war songs in alto, dispensing food. They just kind of, the most bewildered looks kind of come upon their faces as you run down the line. I think some of them there might be a bit of mirth across their faces. Some start to laugh, and I dare say that as you leave and have dispensed most of the rations to the gaggles of soldiers that you find in the distance, you start picking up that same tune being sung in round by the soldiers that you have left behind. So it takes you some time in order to do that, but you've left a few warriors with a bit more of a smile on their face.
All you need.
Yeah. It does stall you a little while, so Zional, Traven is very late compared to what you were expecting. He also has no food left now.
Saved you a little bit.
Oh, thank you. You shouldn't have. Oh, welcome to the war zone.
It's worse than hell.
Well, I've never been, so I couldn't tell you. I'll let you know when I get there.
Oh, you'll love it.
He doesn't quite know how to take that, so he's just going to move on and start heading toward wherever the supplies are kept. So I figured that you would be best suited to help me out of everyone else. Everyone else on this ship is focusing on the battle front, if you can call it that. But someone needs to make sure that these poor sods are going to stay fed, clothed, TP'd up, and armed. And, well, I thought you would be the most suited for that sort of work. Other than myself, of course.
It would be my honor. These soldiers have been through a lot. The one thing they need is a caring hand.
They certainly have seen better days. There would be a simple matter for a skilled hand to run through and rout this group if that was the style of the enemy that they're facing. But I don't think that's their style.
I have a feeling we're going to win this.
I sincerely hope we do, for my sake.
With that particular response, you cross over into what is effectively the warehouse area. It is For this section of the front, it is it's not a terribly large complex. I'd say that it was probably something appropriated from the main settlement and was usually used for cargo. As such, Zional, really, it doesn't take your discerning eye. Traven, you would understand just as easily. There are less supplies here than you would hope. Not to say that there's a lot of vacant space, but there's pretty clear sign that a good bit of the materials have been extracted. There are, like, from containers, a number of them are opened and just seemingly strewn about. There seem to be signs of power cells, which do not show a lot of illumination, or many more seem to lack it than those that remain. There is a busy, very haggard Hemhoch arguing with at least a couple of other warriors. The particularly haggard man, not in quite the full armored regalia as he is going over paths. That there are heated words being exchanged.
Are these the warehouse people? Are these the quartermasters, I assume?
A safe bet. Particularly as he shouts, "No, no, no! This sector doesn't have any more parts to spare, and the remaining power cells are for our distribution only. We have no redundancy with them. Check one of the other sectors." It seems to be like the close of whatever discussion is the remaining the warriors that came to pester him just give up in exasperation and start walking away.
I'm gonna walk up to meet the head guy with the data pad. Having issues?
Nok nech. Which is the standard Klingon greeting of "What do you want?"
May I see the data pad?
He's very reserved, seeing you, Traven. "I do not recognize you. You do not bear the appearance of a warrior. You are certainly not Klingon."
No.
We are the best reinforcements you're going to get around. The only reinforcements you've gotten thus far in this entire hellhole of a planet. So you could tell us to scram, or you could accept the only people who have come to accept to offer whatever kind of assistance we are able.
Makes you one of two things, then. Mercenaries, or he pulls a tiktok, or thieves.
If I was a thief, then why did I come to speak to you directly?
The momentary stern look, he just kind of snorts and sets the knife aside. "Indeed, it would be a poor thief trying to come out openly. An even poorer one for trying to come here for something." He glances.
I'm here because... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
He glances over his pad. "I don't know what. If you didn't bring enough supplies, I doubt I have much that I can relay to you here. But I can answer your questions."
What do you need?
You're having supply issues, correct?
Yes. not enough spare parts for for the various weapons, the ones that haven't been outright destroyed. Oh, not enough cells to charge the hand weapons. Scarcely enough food, armor, virtually everything.
Well, I might be able to help with the larger scale weaponry side of things. It's not much, but I have some older phase pulse cannon ship-mounted energy supplies at my disposal that I would be happy to... Well, let's not say happy to, but I would be willing to part with to make sure that I can leave this planet alive.
Low-yield particle weapons.
Even if you can't use them for the ship-mounted, for their original purpose, the power cells should be enough to keep some of your smaller emplacements running.
Possibly. If there's any power cells, then that would help quite a bit.
As far as everything else, I've made it my business to figure out how to make sparse goods travel farther. I think first we'll need to know a timetable. How long are we planning on staying in this position before we break out?
So they are actually planning a breakout.
Well, I should hope they are. I didn't come here to die.
I scarcely thought there was other option left at this point. We scarcely have more than a tenth of what we came here with in terms of supplies for various munitions, capable fighting warriors. As I understand it from even the medical section, most of the people that have gone back to the ships are too wounded. Or many are some form of walking wounded at this point. Some carry themselves better than others, some hide it better, but... oh no. I suppose that they intend to gather what warriors we have left for one final battle on ground.
Well, that just sounds silly.
Oh.
But regardless, I'm not here to debate strategy.
I mean, it is about the only option that could exist given our scarcest supply.
I can't help but feel that there was mistake. Mistake's too hard of a word. An overestimation of the simplicity of this conflict.
Oh, hey, dude, you wanna go sneak behind the enemy lines and blow shit up and die?
Facepalm.
No, huh? All right, never. It's okay. I'll keep asking. Later.
No, I'm not surprised. I didn't think I'd be surprised by anything anymore, but I suppose there it is. In any case, I don't know what he plans on using to accomplish that. As I was saying, we scarcely have the antimatter at this point to bring the ships, to even bring the ships up to break orbit, let alone escape from this system.
What happened here?
The mighty House Kullorn answered a call for battle on a world that House Kitoch could not bother to defend. Suppose our lord is just that, the sort that is not, would not pass up a battle.
Why is this world so important?
For the Katoch? Oh, number of reasons. It had been a place of considerable energy storage, industry, even a few cultural points here. Honestly, it was strange for that reason that apparently they didn't leave fleets here to guard it once their feud with House Mog began, but, well, House Katoch, I think its strength is widely overestimated. Its claim to be a great house seems more and more questionable as much as the Mog make gains. That being said, why we are here. I don't know if I was not under the impression that the Katoch and the Kullorn had joined in any sort of pact or anything of the sort. We are rising warriors, but some see us as upstart for that reason. Oh, I think that somehow Lord Kolek got the idea that this place was worthy of defense. At the very least, he has given us all a place of glorious. He's given us all a glorious place to die.
I see. Well, if you let me take a look at the inventory, I might be able to work some magic. And I'll bring in those power cells for however much good you think they will do.
He'll hand over the pad that he had. One of the few things we do have to spare here. If you bring that power cell here, then maybe we can at least see to it that you don't die immediately.
I'd rather not. You said we're short on all weaponry, right? That would include explosive weaponry?
Most weaponry has already been dispensed to their respective fronts with scarcely any redundancy left for the power cells and other munitions. I suppose there's always the scuttling charges.
For the ships.
Yes. That would take time to remove, though.
Well, what our quite humorous friend was asking about, I believe, might require some explosive variety of assistance. I can forward that on to the your leader's nephew, I believe, is who I came with, who can potentially work toward that.
The Sons of Kullorn are here? For the first moment in this whole time since you've seen this man, like, his face kind of, his eyes actually widen a bit, and he stands up a little straighter.
A son of Kullorn.
Where one arrives, the others are not too far behind. We might actually survive this battle. Or at the very least, our death shall still mean victory! You've given me something to think about. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that I could help. Traven, can you help me look at this manifest?
Absolutely. Let's take a look.
Let's read some books.
Yep. The supply situation is pretty much as grim as he was describing. If there are particular questions you want to ask, I could give you like a difficulty one. We'd call it, I guess, insight, and I don't know. I would take a pitch on discipline here.
Science, since it's a computer I'm holding.
That could work if Traven were to take a lead.
Yeah, I'm fine with Traven taking point on this, and if I could assist with maybe insight and either engineering or security.
Let's call it engineering.
Since I am okay. Would my
May I-
equipment requisition focus apply?
Yes. And you were going to
Would
ask,
my survival focus apply?
looser, I'll allow it this time. Okay, so difficulty one roll. That is... Just make sure I'm
Yeah.
Crispy.
That would be 2 successes from Traven and 2 successes from Zionol. So a total of 4 successes. Joe, you can draw an additional 3 points of momentum there. So bringing your total up to 5. So yeah, I will let you start off. I'll tell you what, I'll let you each get a free question you can ask just to start, and if there's anything else you want to know, you can obtain information with momentum spending.
Traven, you first.
No, you first. Dang it.
Nope, I got you. I got him.
I've
You took the lead. I was the assistant.
been trying to think of a question to ask. I knew this was going to pop up. It's just really hard to figure it out. What's the most useful item they're low on right now?
Well,
Other than the power cells.
beyond that, from the looks of things in the description of this, the pad very much suggests that there is simply not even the quantity of disruptors, both like not just the hand disruptor. There's not enough like cells for them. There aren't enough of the larger grade that can be used from anything from the support weapon scale, or that is to say a larger cannon that would be effectively an artillery or howitzer style emplacement. There is not enough of the things that could be... They don't really have anything that would be a planetary mount that would be used for firing up into space. It's pretty much, it seems as though the supplies that they had and that have been depleted have been augmented just by pulling off ships that are too badly damaged. I will tell you as part of this, about a third of the remaining ships are grounded basically from severe battle damage. Those that can take off seem to be critically short of antimatter. They do have the fusion reactors on most of them are still at least working, so they could power some of their systems, but at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to make it out or withstand much of a pounding if they tried to get up into space. It's also a factor of, it hampers them further tactically because that means that they have no torpedoes. They can't afford to start firing torpedoes, basically.
Does it show how much antimatter approximately is in those ships? Even the ones that are grounded with damage?
I'd say that there's a rough list, and from what you're seeing, the quantities that they would have, at the very least, Zionel would know, and Traven, you'd probably at least understand vaguely from, like, you'd understand vaguely how the ship works, and in particular, how a lot of these larger house warships work. They guzzle down antimatter. The Klingon ships of the great houses are not terribly efficient with them, outside of maybe the Bird of Praise. The quantities that they're talking about here would suggest their pods are pretty well depleted.
If I may, pretty well depleted. My statement about needing a teaspoon of antimatter to blow up to make a very very large kaboom still stands.
That's what I'm saying. Could we hear me out, Zionel?
I'm
We
listening.
Each of these ships has small amount of antimatter still left in them, and a lot of them are destroyed and grounded. They're not useful.
Correct.
But what if we put all the antimatter that we can from the ships that can't be launched up to just one ship, and we would need like 10 seconds of flight with it, if you get where I'm going with it.
Yes, I know exactly where you're going with it. That will allow everybody to escape as quickly as possible, right?
Yes.
Okay, you weren't talking about a giant bomb ship, right?
I was assuming that would be a big enough distraction for us to get out.
With what?
As many people as
With
possible.
what? With what vessels?
We have a ship. We can shove a bunch
A
of people
ship
in.
that can fit 12 people. 24 at most.
True. Do you think that'll give them enough time to escape?
I doubt it.
Is there a bigger ship than our ship right now? That's a good question.
There is
is
definitely a bit. There has to be. If there's house vessels here, there's bigger ships than us, because we're tiny.
Yeah. So they do have one of the large... They have at least one of the large dagger-shaped class assault ships. The large kind of dagger-shaped ones, which I apparently only sent an image of to you, Traven. That's like a scale 4 vessel. That's basically meant to take on a large number of troops and convey them to planets. It's like I think it's like 80, about 80 years old at this point, or maybe about 75, something like that. Here you go.
we could pull some of our antimatter and put it into that biggest ship they got. And
Yes,
if we
we
could
may
do the
have
math
to.
right, we can defend it. We can keep the ships off of them while they make it out.
We may have to do something along those lines. I definitely think most of these ships are a loss. And transferring antimatter into fewer ships to get us out is going to be the best way to do so. I'm not an engineer. I can't figure those details out, but I'm sure our engineer can do so. But more immediate concerns. We need to survive until this plan gets off the ground. Mr. GM, you said that there's a surplus of pads, correct? You said that's the only thing we have more than enough of?
I mean, it's not like an unreasonable amount of pads. If the plan was to make some sort of Rube Goldberg device,
The plan is no. The plan is how many pad energy cells would we have to drain to recharge hand weapons? Can we basically just kill as many pads as possible and start recharging hand weapons?
It could be used kind of as a a last resort to very slightly recharge them.
Okay. Can I spend 2 momentum to create an advantage?
Oh, I don't see any reason why not to. What advantage did you want to create?
What rank is the head honcho on the ship? What the head honcho on this planet? What would be his rank?
I think that Kulek would style himself a general.
General's stash.
So
Every leader has their specialty stuff that they hold on to, that they don't want the average people to get their hands on. To keep themselves living a bit better than everyone else. And by looking at the manifest and comparing stuff, I would like to be able to identify where that is and distribute and open it for distribution.
I see. I think that with what you've been exposed to, both the time that you've been in the bunker, and also given that you have a good sense from the readout on the pad here, you have a good sense of where the other supply sites are, so you have a sense of maybe that one place that it looks like supplies were kept in some significant quantity that isn't properly labeled here.
Well, I tap on the one location. Show it to Traven. I think we can survive a little bit longer than the reports led us to believe.
Huh.
I walk over to the quartermaster, and I show him this location. Well, what about this place?
Didn't have anything documented there. That's near enough
Then you wouldn't mind if I... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Near enough the main command bunker that I don't have much reason to go there myself.
You wouldn't mind if I took a look then?
Hey, you're with the Sons of Kullorn, at least one of the Sons of Kullorn, by all means.
Very well then.
Strange they bring mercenaries here, but they
bring people that get the job done.
I suppose that's all I can ask for at the end of the day. That and the warrior Klingon spirit they bring.
Of course. Just one more thing. This enemy house. What did they call again? Mog?
Mog. God, I'd hate to fight the Mog.
They're different?
Oh, they're easily one of the more powerful houses, one of the few to command a dreadnought.
Ooh. This is a strange question to ask, considering that the leader, or the general of your house is here. Would House Mog respond in kind and bring a general of their own planet side?
I'd imagine they have somebody leading that large army outside of ours. At least one.
Okay. That's enough to satisfy my curiosity for now. Traven, shall we go and see what additional bounties we can discover.
You want me to go with you?
Why not?
I look at the quartermaster. I look back at Zionel. Come on, man. Even he can see it.
See what?
I am probably better used helping the people here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're going to look at this other location, see what kind of supplies are here.
Away
That's
from
valuable.
safety?
No, in safety.
Okay.
I would never take you to the front lines without having a plan in mind.
Okay. If I get shot at, I'm going to be so mad.
Don't worry. You're more likely to get stabbed. These are Klingons.
It's not a question of if, it's a question of when you'll be shot at.
I hate this.
And as you go to contemplate when next you might be shot, Traven, I think that we'll still keep on the scene, but we'll keep in this particular setting, but we'll focus on a different part of the destroyed city here on Hol-Shimar. In particular, let's go ahead and follow up with Rladaar. I'll also, just because I realized I was putting my foot down a bit, I will expend 2 threat to close up the scene. Let's see.
All right.
Yeah. Rladaar, you are looking for where Kulek could have gone. I don't think he was immediately anywhere visible in the bunker, so you can, or at least not in the section you were in. You could either try to look back outside, or you could try to look elsewhere there. I'll leave it up to you. That's to say,
I think
outside.
if he's not in the bunker, he's probably outside. I'll check outside for him.
Okay. Just to make sure I heard right, that was outside?
Outside, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, stepping out from the bunker, it's again the same sort of fragments. Streets that have been badly just mangled, burning. That smells of dust and smoke kind of wafting over. There are probably a few times where you might have been sent planet-side back during the war, and would recognize at least some of this, but Klingon victories, when they were fought on the ground, well, let's just say that things were, by the time that you might have made it to ground, things tended to be smoldering a little more after disruptors carved a Federation planet from orbit. As you are looking up and down the street, Dar takes just a few steps forward and looks up.
Alright. This is your first time on a planet.
Stars.
Yeah. And each one has planets that might or might not be like the one we are on now.
Dar kind of looks down at the ground and then back around. Warriors. There's something kind of, I don't know. There's a slight, curious glint in his eyes as he kind of looks to this. You feel it's hard in some ways to recognize the complete range of expressions, although you've seen them to your own face, so you vaguely know at least what some of it looks like. But this is still a different person, and even with, let's say, the time with Kresic around, maybe it's not always first nature to understand what is going on, or what, like, non-verbal cues might be coming over your counterpart. In this case, there is a twinge, maybe, of curiosity, of something just shy of, like, something difficult on the creature's face. But yes, as that continues, you hear the sounds of some raised voices approaching your position. You see, sure enough, as from earlier, it seems Latash and Kulek have met up and they are striding down the street. Kulek appears to be carrying a batleth, one that appears to have seen some slightly better days. There's some scoring along part of the blade, and indeed some of the bottom appears like slightly melted would be the best way to put it, as if exposed to like an extreme heat, slightly malformed such to where it is a little less useful, or it's not quite the same tempered look. It's very asymmetrical. With each step on his right, the malformed segment of the blade also makes contact. Latash is saying, the gun extraction is moving much more slowly. We can have the. I do not know how soon we can have the disruptors ready, my lord. Oh, if you can't get, if your people can't get those weapons ready soon, then we'll simply use what we have. You should feel the song in your heart for what's to come, Latash. Even if that one over there, gesturing to you, Rladaar, that one has come, and he hears the call of battle. Surely we can all prepare ourselves for what's to come. Rladaar, are your people have you set about your tasks? Are you in need of any direction? I'm sure that my subordinate here can see to your duties. He certainly doesn't need to bother an old man like me.
They have been going about. I may have figured out a way to silence guns.
Oh. Some special know-how you bring, he says with a broadening grin. What tricks and guile do you plan to bring to bear?
Well, we have figured out that there's just enough of the sewer system in the city remaining to get us right near those guns. Possibly undetected.
A sewage system. I thought the largest of those segments were closed. Yes, my lord, Latash rejoins. We explored it as a way to advance a possible force for surprise attack. None of the larger passages were sufficiently intact for us to advance forces in that strength.
But there is one big enough to get a small team. Plant some explosives.
Yeah, that could be most advantageous after all. And if you should succeed, then we can target that. I know that sector. I know that area of the line. If you could target that, then why we would be able to catch them off guard. A most impressive consideration. If you have the explosives necessary, then we could exploit that damage in very quick fashion indeed.
I will probably have to rig something together.
Oh, good.
Or,
good.
worst comes to worst, they certainly have an abundance of explosives.
Prepare what you need for this effort, and let me know when you are ready to launch. As soon as as soon as you can get your attack underway, why then we can start a larger assault against against our foes. It shall be glorious. At this point, Dar will. You feel Dar's claw on your arm, Rladaar, as he's trying to grab you. Stars.
Oh god, his own nemesis. Yeah.
His other claw, points not up to the sky, but towards a very near bit of the horizon. Stars. Rladaar, I'm just going to let the roll happen because, as he points out, you can make out the flashes of light and moments later rumbling that come in the distance. Sickly green bolts flying out in large fashion. I don't know how that scream timed out, but man, that kind of worked.
That was from my ma. I gotta check what's wrong.
Oh dear.
I'll be back.
Might start this again in a moment. Well, I'll just let him be surprised by this later. The pulsing lights give way to, in very short fashion, sickly green bolts of light stream out from the other end of the front and begin landing about the city. Some of it coming up high enough to where shields extended from the vessels actually block some of it, but others coming in low, some in the field, landing at the fields below, some along parts of the contact line of the very front lines, while others spray out into the buildings, including one that worms its way through one of the buildings very nearby and spraying the ground with fragments as rock and wave of compressed heat wash over you. You find yourselves taken by clouds of dust and by the pressure of air and the scent of ozone. And I think on that note, that is where we are going to... I think that's where we're going to call it for tonight. So, for those of you...
Wow. Kaboom.
Ending the session with a
bang.
Explosive.
Yeah, I have no good puns. I am too far into...
You have no what?
I have no puns left for this.
See, good, you corrected.
That's what I said the first time. My
No, you said good puns.
fair. Much like them, my munitions are empty on that front. So, this is where we are going to depart. For those of you in the archive, we will leave you off with more Broken Sword next week. You can catch us live Tuesdays at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. So until then, we will catch you folks later. Hopla.